Hey everybody, it's Sean. Thanks for stopping by. Today I'm going to show you how I created these freestanding lace earrings using my single needle embroidery machine, and I am using thread from Richword. Stay tuned. Alrighty, so for this project, I'm going to be using the 4x4 hoop for my VE 2200, and then I'm also going to be using some water-soluble stabilizer. This is the kind, it's like Vilene, but it's not the Vilene brand. I will leave links in the description for that. I'm going to be using some earring findings or earring pieces. This is the 8mm jump ring. This is a 6mm jump ring, and this is just one of the I think they're called fishtail or fishhook earring findings to make the earrings dangle. And so I'm just going to scoot those over there a little bit because the main thing that I am going to be using is this embroidery thread that I received from Rich World. This is a 40 cone set of the 800 meter embroidery thread. It is polyester, and I'm going to be using the single needle because this is for household machines. It's not for the multi needles that go a lot faster than the household machines. So I did open it because I had to take a peek and see what it was looking like. But these are all of the beautiful colors. We've got some, I don't know what that color is called, but it's nice and bright. A bunch of different colors. There's one that I opened. I opened this one already, but that's a really pretty yellow. Then, of course, you've got your basic colors like your black. Oh, that's a pretty gray. I'm looking for, I think, okay, so this is a pink. I'm not sure if I want to use a pink or a red to do these earrings. So I did my test stitch with a different brand and I used a pink thread. So what I'll do is I will use a shade of red or maybe purple. That purple would be pretty. Yeah, I like the purple better. So I'm going to use this purple. And what I'm going to do to make sure that the earrings are pretty much the same on both sides as far as the coloring, I'm going to thread a bobbin so that I'll have the same color thread on the bottom and top of the bobbin. Okay? I use my machine to thread the bobbin to match. Okay, so when I put the stabilizer on the hoop, I'm actually going to double it so that there's 2 layers of the water-soluble hooped to the hoop all by itself. The beautiful thing about freestanding lace is that you just hoop the stabilizer and you let it stitch. So I am going to roll enough out so that I can double it as well as get good tension on all 4 sides, because you still have to have the stabilizer hooped nice and taut so that it doesn't have any gapping or, distort the stitching. And then on this one, there's this little screw on the side that you could tighten up if need be, but almost sounds like a drum. Let me pull it to make sure it's all nice and tight. Okay, so now I'm going to take this to the machine and we're going to start stitching. Okay, so this is the Brother VE 2200 single needle embroidery machine. I've said multiple times in other videos that it is a discontinued model, but we're going to just keep on using it until it doesn't want to be used anymore. So we're going to take our embroidery hoop that's already hooped with the stabilizer, and I did thread the bobbin with the same embroidery thread so that it will be the same on both sides. Okay, so I've got my purple thread here and I'm going to put that back in here and close that up. Now there's a little blade that will allow that little hanging thread to cut off because it wasn't necessary. So I'm going to load this up. Now this design, I did digitize it myself. It's only 7,520 stitches, and my machine tells me that it takes approximately 12 minutes for it to stitch from beginning to end. So we're going to go ahead and lower that presser foot, and we're going to start stitching it. Now, just in case anybody is wondering, this color code is 1129. 1129 is the color of the Rich World embroidery thread that I'm using. And I'm just going to let this stitch out because it looks like it's doing okay. And so I will check back in just a little bit. I'm just dropping back in real quick. It is still stitching pretty well. It just finished the satin stitch on the outside of the first heart, and now it's going to do the little details on the inside of the heart before it moves on to the second earring. And I am using a 7511 straight needle for this. Okay, so now it's finished with the first earring and it is stitching the second earring. So we'll just let it keep on stitching. And my freestanding lace, the base of it is in a diamond formation. And I set it at about 1.5 millimeters so that it's kind of dense, but not too dense. And these were digitized using Embroidered Stitch Artist 3 is what I use. Oh, we got a thread break. So let's see here. Check and rethread the upper thread. Okay, let's see what happened here. What I want to do is get my scissors here. I'm just going to clip it from up here. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing or not. I do apologize for the camera shaking so much. And I want to try to trace it to not really be pulling upon the disc, but there wasn't anything hanging at the bottom. So I wasn't able to just like pull it down from down here. It looks like my needle is a little bit funky looking. I probably should have changed that before I started this, but I am going to go ahead and change it now with another 7511 sharp. and I'm using the Oregon brand. If I could get these out of here. I wasn't planning on this video being very long, but things happen. So let me get one of these out of here. I only need one, so I'll put that one back. Okay. And so now I'm gonna come over here. Where's my little thingy here? Use this to loosen it up a little bit so that I could pull the needle out. Yeah, that needle was really bent up here. I don't know if you could tell. If I turn them sideways. Oh, where are they at? This here one, the left side, this is a lot more bent, and then I'm just going to put the new one in. So let's put this in here. And we're going to tighten that up. And we are going to rethread and try to pick back up where we left off at. Okay, so it threaded it just fine. I'm going to clip off a little bit of that excess. And I'm going to come over here to my panel, and I'm just going to go back about 20 stitches just to make sure that it picks up where it broke off at, so that I don't have any interruptions in my stitching. And I think I may have too much hanging out still. I do. So I'm going to stop it because I don't want all that junk thread hanging there. So let's see here. Okay, so I'm going to clip that so I don't have all that extra stuff hanging. And I'm going to lower it. I'm only going to go back 10, and we're just going to go ahead and let it finish stitching. It should be fine now. So note to self, always start your freestanding lace projects with a new or newer needle. I have no idea how long that needle was in that machine, because it's been a while since I've used it. But a new needle in it is stitching just fine now. We're almost down to the end of it. We're at 6,760 stitches, and so just a few more of those mini hearts in the middle of the design, and we'll be done. But I can tell you, I already see a part where the thread broke earlier. I can tell that it kind of looks junky because it was interrupted at that spot. So I will probably end up restitching these out again and see, if it looks a lot better. And it might be from the angle that I'm standing at that it looks like it's not really neat. But we'll see in just a few stitches. Okay, so let's see how it's looking so far. Not too shabby. So this is the area from the angle I was standing at. It looked like it was kind of funky looking, but what it is there's a piece of thread that I could see wasn't trimmed close enough when the thread was interrupted. But overall, the design looks exactly the way it's supposed to look. And then because I did use the same color thread for the back, it's going to be the same color front and back. Of course, I will trim those extra threads off to make it neater. But the next step, we're going to take this off the hoop. I'm going to trim everything, and then I'm just going to rinse the stabilizer out of it and let it dry so that we can put the findings on. Okay, so I have rinsed and I trimmed the extra the extra threads that were behind it so that they won't be just hanging everywhere. And I went through and caught myself singeing it with a lighter, and it scorched it a little bit. So I don't think I would recommend actually trying to singe the threads off with a lighter with these. So we're going to put the jump rings on, and like I said earlier, I'm going to be using an 8mm, which is this here bigger one, and then a 6mm, which is this here smaller one. I hope that you can see those. Okay, and I've got these tools. I'm not sure what they're called, and they didn't come together. I know this is a wire cutter in there, but I used them. They came with some jewelry making kits years ago, and when tools come with things, I just save them. So I'm going to use these to pry the jump ring open And when I open up the jump ring, I'm going to just twist. I'm not going to pull it apart. I'm going to twist so that it twists open without, weakening the ring. So that just twisted, and that sound that you heard was just the two pliers bumping along each other. And so I'm going to slip this in here. And so it's in there. And I'm going to close it back up by just twisting it the other way. And I may have pulled that a little bit apart. So I'm going to try to make sure that this is lined up. Oh, I squeeze it. So I've got to get another one. I'm going to just pull this out. And that will happen sometimes if you use too much pressure. Okay, that one's open. Now it's closed, and that one's closed pretty good. It's not going to come out. And so now I've got to do the same thing with the smaller jump ring, which is the 6 millimeter. I'm going to just open it, and I'm going to loop that through the 8 millimeter, and I'm going to take the fish hook and I'm going to place that on it. And when I put it on here, I just want to make sure that the front of the hook, lost that one. I want to make sure that the front of the hook is facing the front of the earring piece so that when it dangles with the right side showing outward. So I'm just going to loop that back in there, and I'm going to put that in there. Okay. And then I'm going to close it up. So now it's closed and my earring is dangling. So that's that. So I'll do the same thing with the other, and I've got to go and get another 8 millimeter jump ring, but I'll do the same thing with that side and we will be done. There is an option to use, I don't know what this here type of earring hook is called, but it literally just allows you to slide the earring piece over it. And I don't like it, but it came with something. So it came out when I pulled the other ones out. I figured I would show you that one. But that's an option that, if you needed to make some interchangeable ones, that would work for some interchangeable ones. And you could just switch your colors on your different earrings if you wanted to do that. But anyways, I'm going to go and get another 8 millimeter and get this other earring put together. Alrighty, so these are the final products. This is actually a set that I made to do a short video with. And so this is the set that I did for this video and had no problems with the thread itself. I had to change my needle, but you'll find that anyways in doing embroidery, you have to change your needles. And clearly that needle was curving and it was being used a little bit longer than it should have been. But anyways, the thread itself, so far, so good. I have no problem with it. They have a nice variety of colors. I didn't have any thread breaks, so it seems like it's a nice, strong thread as far as the quality. And so I just figure, with a freestanding lace design, that would put it to the test to see, how much thread is going to be going and to see if any of the thread would break. Because, with freestanding lace designs, you're going to use a lot more thread most of the time because of the way it interweaves to make sure that it has that foundation for it to set. I did do some test stitches with the design with a different brand thread, but same design, no problem. So you can see that it's stitched out well and the thread looks good. So I'm gonna do a few more projects using the Rich World polyester embroidery thread, and I'll be using my single needle for it. And I'll give you all an update after a few uses to let you know if my thoughts or opinions have changed about this thread. But so far, guys, so good. So I will let you all go, and I will see you in the next one.